Welcome to On the Chain. This is Jeff here with co-host Chip. What is going on, Chip? What's going on, everybody out there in the On the Chain world? You know who you are. That's right. You guys out there. One of you, yep, and you too. That's right. You know who you are. Dubai tokenizing real estate on the XRPL. XRP making its way. I thought XRP was done once Ripple moved over to the RLUSD. Apparently not. Real world asset. The revolution begins now. And there's some amazing things that are going to happening. But as always, we want to talk more about censorship and global power shifts because geopolitics has to factor its way into everything that we're doing. Because if you don't understand the geopolitics, you don't understand nothing.
You don't understand shit.
You don't understand shit.
Shit. Shit or shinola?
Shit or get off the pot.
Let's go. You ready? Like these bells, it sounds like official news. Ding, 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 ding.
Exactly.
Some official news broadcast is about to take place here. Not just two guys.
On today's news.
On today's news. Ding, ding, ding. Hang on a second. Ding, 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 ding. Getting something in my ear. Hang on. Breaking. Holy cow. Everything's breaking. Guys, where are you coming in from today? Where is everybody? Anybody coming in?
Update, Chip.
What's up, Joseph? Good to see you, man. Good to see you in here. Crypto Will from Belgium. Of course. Chat, always from celebration. Always from celebration.
Times.
Come on. We'll probably get strike for that, for singing it.
Just for singing
for badly representing Cool Neck Gang celebration. We'll get, I mean, it's like every other video we get like, oh, strike. Oops. All right. Sorry.
Strike.
It's never, I mean, isn't anything fair use anymore? I mean, it's fair use. We're showing your video, man. I mean, you should be happy.
We're singing it too.
I know. I mean, we're trying to like show it to a new Panama. Hello. Now. Hey now. Panama in the house. You know, like that. Panama. So this is an interesting story. Kind of came across. I had to do some investigating in it, but this guy said, "Oh, I thought I couldn't break this news yet, but it seems like the DLD already did." So, Demand Land Department launched tokenized land deeds on the XRPL mainnet today. That was, I think, on the 17th, maybe was it? Yeah. Backed by real titles. So, I had looked at this. It was a post put on LinkedIn here. Exciting news. This is for Dr. Mahmoud Al-Barai. He says, I'm on a mission, city changer, building Dubai prop tech. And exciting news. Finally, tokenization is reality on the Dubai real estate market. Dubai's first tokenized title property is out. Register your interest. Be one of the first investors to buy a piece of Dubai. For less than 2,000 DHS, you will be able to buy a fraction of Dubai real estate market. In phase one, this is only open for Emirates ID holders. Sorry, everybody else. That's the residents of the United Arab Emirates as part of the Dubai Land Department pilot program with Primco and Control Alt.
Sweet.
As long as you don't put delete on the end, Control Alt's okay, Jeff. Yeah, Control Alt, because the other company Control Alt delete is out of business. I've heard they went under. I don't know. Nobody knows what happened.
People don't use them as much as they used to.
No,
used to use that company all the time.
Yeah, now they had to go Control Alt. That is so funny. Blockchain for the pilot tokenization project is Ripple, and to register your interest using the following link. So we go over to their website right here. Let's go ahead. There it is, Primco, and boom, Dubai's real estate tokenized. So it's it's actually the very first in the region for tokenization platform. You can join the wait list over here. And you can see there's the app right over there. Beautiful. Check that out. Very sweet. It's pretty starting from 82,000. I think that's the very minimum you can. And what is that? What's that denomination? What does that equate to in USD?
Let's see.
Just curious of what that looks like.
2,000 dirhams.
Yeah, how much
UAE dirhams, a conversion. I asked it to convert it, and it did not.
It said pound sand.
Again.
It said go power
It's
Sam, dude.
basically that's what it's basically what
I
it's
knew
for.
it.
Like
I
you
knew
don't
it.
know what you're talking about.
Danville,
Basically
Indiana. Look.
$544.
Here's an update on the game, Jeff. Panthers 27, Leafs 0.
Let's go. Let's go,
Yes,
Panthers. Period number 1 is coming to a close here. They got about 2 minutes.
Crazy.
That was a fast
It's still
period.
0-0, right? Amazing.
2:58 left in the first, and it's 0-0. So once we get to the second and to the third, I'm out as long as the Panthers are winning.
Hey, can't you go to Google and ask it? Did you go to Google or did you go to Chatty?
I went to Google, and Google said, I'm not going to do it for you.
What about chat?
Normally, you put into Google, and it just pops it up. It's $544. Normally, it gives you the whole conversion thing. And this time I said, convert it into USD, and it just said, download our currency converter app. But I don't want to download the currency converter app.
But if you do,
I just want Google to do it for me.
Yeah, but if you do what is the
there we go. So it's $544 basically.
544 is what it is. Okay, yeah. $544. So that's like the minimum, I guess, the minimum investment you have.
The minimum
12% net ROI.
That's correct.
Which is not bad. I mean, pretty solid. Fractional ownership, blockchain backed,
nice.
Full transparency. So there you go. So I guess I know they have the first title ready. I don't see it here yet, but again, probably a wait list. They're probably doing an early announcement, which is great. We're strategic partners in Dubai Land Development, waiting a license approval from the Dubai Virtual Regulatory or Assets Regulatory Authority, which is VARA. So it sounds to me like they might have to maybe it's a little premature in the announcement. Platform will let you securely and seamlessly own and sell property tokens on marketplace. And right now it's just open. You got to be a resident at this point, and you have to have an ID. And with Primco Mint, investors pay only half the DLD fees, just 2% instead of the standard 4%, making real estate investments more affordable and accessible. So there's another reason to do tokenized versus a regular, because it looks like you're going to have to pay a percentage fee. Everything is tokenization. That's a Z. It's supposed to be a Z, Jeff.
Tokenization.
Tokenization. Let's see. What is a token? It's a unit of ownership. So it'd be interesting. It would be interesting to buy, earn, sell, browse so you can browse the properties. Again, it looks like it's a little bit on the early side, but it looks like they still need our seeking approval unless that hasn't been updated. But sell tokens, buy tokens, lock-in period, the whole thing. Hit the sneeze trigger there. A glimpse of our tokenized portfolio. So this will be it. You'll be able to buy stuff. It'll be like what it looks like. Blurred out, 2-bedroom apartments. It looks like, it's going to be residential property. I don't know if commercial will be added later. You get perks for early birds. 0 platform fees on the very first property, so you're not going to have to pay that 2%. First place, AED, 25K, 25, 15, and 10,000. So there you have it. Pretty exciting news right there.
That's it.
Pretty exciting. I'm gonna go follow these guys. Give them a follow over there. Give them a follow. Beautiful. Is it risky, Jeff? I see it right there. Risk warnings. Is it risky? Let's see what it says about risk.
It's grabbing memory.
Volatility, loss of value, virtual assets are highly speculative in nature, transferability, reversibility, liquidity risk. This is the normal, typical thing: security fraud, legal risk. There it is. Legal disclaimer: does not constitute financial, legal, or investment advice. Never does. All individuals engaging in virtual asset activity should seek independent professional advice, and definitely not 2 dudes doing a YouTube channel. Definitely not. All compliance with the applicable laws, regulations by proceeding with virtual asset transactions. Users accept full responsibility for the associated risk and any resulting financial losses. There you have it.
There you have it.
There you have it. I feel like you're fixated on. I feel like you're watching the game, Jeff.
No, I'm trying to fix my audio. My audio keeps cutting out. It's the end of the first period.
Do you want to see how exciting this is? We were the 19th follower. Amazing. 19th follower. Yeah, they had 19 followers on Primco Mint. We're early. We're early.
We're early adopters, Chip.
Early. Let's join the Primco Zero.
Try that
Let's see
one
what
more
she
time.
has to say. I bet you she has something to say. What is she talking about here? Hang on a second. I'm gonna grab this link really quick because this might be something that would be somewhat of interest. Let's see here. Okay, so so I found a video that they had listed on their X account. So this is talking about the Primco Mint. So let's see what this is all about. Let's see what it's all about. Here we
I want
go.
to see where all my resources are being drained.
In life are meant to be shared. Introducing Primco Mint, the first tokenized real estate platform in MENA. And our waitlist is now live. With Primco Mint, you can own a piece of tokenized real estate starting from just 2,000 dirham. So join the waitlist and you could get early access to Primco Mint and waiver when you invest in our first properties, and a chance to win 25,000 dirham in our referral race. The more you share the link, the higher you climb the leaderboard. And the top 3 referrers win big. So grab your link, spread the word, and you might be one of our lucky winners. Join the waitlist today and overshare your way to the top. Link in bio.
So it looks like they just joined on the 13th of May, so it's all pretty new. No wonder we're the 19th follower.
That's
I
right.
don't know who they're following.
Nope. Not us.
It's like not us. They're not following us. They're following Primco, which is a platform that simplifies the real estate journey. This is who they're actually following. It's always very telling and engages exactly what's going on here. Let's go. We got 8 people in the Yeti drawing right now. But Amira Sajwani, Managing Director of Dama Official, founder of Primco.com. Boom, give a follow. Primco Blocks, it's a real estate investment for all. Invest from AED 500 in Dubai's best rental properties. So that's a little bit of that's blocks. So that's a little different for rental properties. And they got Primco, which is a platform simplifies the real estate journey in the UAE by facilitating mortgage, gold, and visa. So I guess Primco is doing quite a bit in the real estate area. And then, of course, you've got Kikius Maximus, which is Elon Musk. Funny that they're following Elon Musk. Interesting, right?
Very interesting.
Interesting. Yeah. Very interessante, man. Very much so. I thought this was an interesting observation by Chamath Palihapitiya. He's on that All In podcast, but I thought this was kind of a interesting thought here. He said, for over the past 100 years, the number of banks have gone from 28,000 to 4,500. The number of public companies in the U.S. peaked at 8,000 and has since shrunk to 6,000. Meanwhile, the amount of regulation and regulatory agencies have exploded. Meanwhile, the regulation at the limit strangles entrepreneurs, small businesses, and public companies in favor of consolidators, large roll-ups, and administrators. We need a regulatory reset. Yeah, absolutely. It's so funny. You see things shrinking on the company side. You think that the investors, small business people are getting hurt, entrepreneurs. And then what do we see? Just more regulations. And the first term, Trump, for every one new regulation, they had to get rid of 2 or 3. Now I think it's for every new one regulation, they got to get rid of 10. But they just need a reset is absolutely what's needed. What's your thought on that, Jeff?
I think so too. Complete reset, Chip.
I always like when people ask Grok. If you tag Grok at Grok, you ask it a question, it will come in post and says, yeah, the claim is about the U.S. banks dropping from 28 to 4,500 over 100 years, roughly accurate. Historical estimates suggest that maybe 30,000 banks in the 20s, falling to 4,100 by 22. The number of public companies likely peaked at 8,000, is now around 6,000, supporting the claim. Regulation and regulatory agencies have indeed grown, often cited as a response to crises, but their impact is debated. Some argue regulations burden small business, favoring large firms. Others say they ensure stability and fairness. Evidence is mixed, and the exact 1925 bank figures are uncertain. Well, right after the crash, yeah, you had a lot of big failings going on pretty much all around. So that was something we never see too much of. So what do you make, Jeff, of Jake Tapper putting a book out on Biden's decline, mental decline? What do you think about his assertion that all of a sudden he was the one that would always argue with people that would come on his show, but now he's just waking up to the fact that they got duped, right? But we saw it unfold for 4 years. As a matter of fact, Jeff, during
4 years
the
they covered it up. They covered it up.
During the campaign of 2020, he was hidden in the. They didn't even let him outside to talk. So, what is your assessment of like now that they're trying to come clean or pretend they're coming clean on this whole thing?
Yeah, it's a travesty, because our media, as we know, has really been a shit show for years, and you can't trust anything they say. They're obviously bought and beholden to whomever. We've seen so many YouTube videos that have pieced all the different newscasts together as they move across the country, channel to channel to channel. They're all exactly the same. There's a narrative. They pass the narrative down. There's an agenda that goes along with the narrative. Somebody's pulling the strings. We saw it unfold in 2020 at such a high rate that it became extremely concerning, because we saw their lack of coverage of the Antifa riots and the BLM riots and the thefts and the burning in the streets and all the things that were going on, the violence, right? It was a summer and it was a kind of a movement just steeped in violence and rhetoric. And it really started back in 2016 because the Democrats called out their foot soldiers and they wanted them there. And each one of the politicians, one after another, said, get in their face. Don't give them a moment of freedom. Basically just constantly stay on them no matter where they are. It doesn't matter if they're at a restaurant. And we saw that happening, unfolding. So they got the permission to do it. They felt emboldened to do it. And then the media on the back end was continuously just coming after the Republicans and the religious groups, the Christian groups, Jewish groups, etc. And so if you would stand out, it's mostly Christian groups that they were coming after. And it was so bad, to see what we witnessed. And the media they weren't oblivious to it. They were part and parcel of the agenda. They were the spokesperson of the agenda. And that's why we kept saying, that there's different components there. And they're the misinformation campaign spreader. Thank God, Trump from the beginning was saying, look, all those guys out there, that's the lying media. And they were the lying media. And, and it didn't stop. Now, all of a sudden, they took a step back and like, oh, wait a minute, we got to, rescue our careers at this point. And the only way they can do it is say, hey, all we are doing is reading lines. We didn't know. We're just giving the information that was fed to us. And that's the joke of it. And Chad Nauseum is putting it up perfectly. There is no, journalism. Journalism is 100% propaganda. And,
right.
I saw it, unfortunately, I saw it, firsthand because we have a family member that is a newscaster on TV. And, as he was kind of making his way up the ranks, there was a huge falling out in the family over it. Not, I wasn't involved in it, but
sure you were, Jeff. You were the impetus of it. You were probably.
I wasn't actually. I wasn't. I had
pushing the button.
I was the exact opposite. No, I didn't want any part of it. And I said, look, just stay back. But there were multiple components to it. But as you saw through COVID and all those other things, they were buying the medicine. Whatever was fed to them, being in the media, it was amazing to see they bought it, right? So is it that the majority of the media, were they duped, or they thought they were above everything, that they were the ones on the front lines getting all the real information? So they were the pawns in the game of misinformation. They were the ones spreading the propaganda, but they believed it, the majority of them. I got to believe there's some that didn't, that got to a point and they said, wait a minute, this nothing that we're saying is actually real. You would hope that was the case, but that's the world we lived in for a long time. Thank God for alternate media. Thank God for platforms like this. But look at the disruption that we faced, on this platform. If you said the wrong thing, if you said COVID during the COVID time, boom, instant deletion of your channel. If you said anything against what the mainstream was saying, you were immediately kind of ostracized and blacklisted. Same thing, on Twitter at the time, same thing on Facebook at the time, same thing on YouTube. The mass social media controlled way too much of the narrative, and they were the culprits of much of what we saw go on. So if you go back to like Tapper, those guys at this point, the guy's just trying to save face, and he's trying to make believe that they weren't part of the Biden hoax cover up, because we know, like you said, since 2020, he was in his basement. He wasn't coherent 4 years ago. There are already signs of it 4 years ago of dementia. And all of us, everybody talked about it. Anyone who's had a family member that has gone through that saw all the signs in it. So it was so obvious, but then the medical personnel that covered it up and that were part of it, because there's White House doctors and all, and had to give him a clean bill of health. So they had to sign off on it. His wife and any of his staffers, anyone who's around him, they need to be held to account, because they basically usurped the presidency of this country, from the doctors to his wife to everybody else that was around him. They were all part of a revolution that took the presidency from the American people. We didn't vote for them. Yeah, we didn't vote for him either. But let's say he was duly elected, then he was the president. But if he had dementia and wasn't able to maintain mental capacity, it had to be passed down. That's right. Yeah.
Bloody drungos. Come on.
That's right. So think about all those different things, and now he's got cancer, and man, the whole thing was just too much. Yeah.
We've known this for a long time too. And thank you, Flatliner Streams. You know who that is. Gifted one on the chain membership. Thank you so much. It supports the channel. Appreciate that. Hey. It took 4 years for my son-in-law to recognize that I was right about COVID. Well, I got people in my family still haven't recognized it yet. I was right about everything. I mean, what gets me is like, look, you just forget about what the media was telling you. We had our eyes, we had our ears, and we had something going on between that skull that we could just like do some critical thinking. Like, I can't. But I mean, and they thought like they call instead, and they couldn't even get the White House. Remember Jean? What was her name? Jean, the old the press secretary. She couldn't even say deep fake. She said cheap fakes. They don't even know it's called deep fake, but they were saying they were cheap fakes, manipulated videos. I mean, every day. I mean, you always want to take advantage. Yeah, Trump makes gaffes. He says things off but every like multiple times, every time that they open their mouth, I mean, it just started becoming like something's not right here, or something. There's something really wicked going on, and I'm not buying it, man. I don't even buy it, and I don't even think it's a good look for Fake Tapper, which I like to call him because he's fake as hell. Fake Tapper comes out with this book. It's just capitalizing on a sad scenario. He knew. They all knew.
They all knew.
They put party and ideology over the American people, over country. That's what they wanted. They wanted to let it. And honestly, had they known, why didn't they want to let Harris take over sooner? Right. I think we know the answer to that question also, because we kind of would have seen real fast.
Imagine. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so they were propping her up, saying how great she was. Well, everybody knew. And the other thing is, it's the vice president's responsibility that if there's something cognitive going on, to ring the bell. That's one of your duties. That if something's that you're looking out for the presidency, and for her not to ring the bell, for her not to say, hey, there's a problem here. Hey, we got something going on here. That's complicitness. And my estimation is that she was also in on the whole thing, because if she had really been looking out, she would have definitely known that. But let's just look at Fake Tapper. Let's look at some of his past, transgressions here. But let's look at this here. Here he's getting called out.
Curious as to whether or not this kind of trying to hide what was happening with the president at the time had an impact on the press corps. Like, why didn't we hear some of these details from what they actually saw and were dealing with, trying to get information?
Well, Alex Thompson and I were on the case, as were lots of other reporters, trying to.
They were on the case, Jeff. They were on the case. And look at the softball question. He's obviously getting interviewed on CNN. But why didn't we know? Dude, everybody knew. This was not even.
Everybody knew.
I think the bigger question is, how did you not know? And how did you pretend so long? This is the harder question to answer.
Figure out what was going on behind the scenes. But the bottom line is the White House was lying, not only to the press, not only to the public, but they were lying to members of their own cabinet.
So were you lying? You were lying to everybody else. Did they not see? I mean, we didn't have anything privy. We weren't behind the scenes. We weren't in the White House. We weren't in the strategy sessions. We weren't with the Biden administration behind closed doors. We saw it with our own ears and eyes. Like, so them telling and the funny part about this is they're trying to blame the administration. They lied to us. You're investigators. Again, Chad brought this up. You're supposed to be journalists. Journalists aren't supposed to say, this is how it is. And they're like, oh, okay. But if it's the other team in the White House, then everything, no, we got to investigate everything. But you didn't even have a little somewhat curiosity to go take a look, like, something doesn't smell right. Doesn't pass the sniff test. But I'm sure they're not going to lie to us. When does the government ever tell the truth? Come on.
They were lying to White House staffers. They were lying to Democratic members of Congress, to donors about how bad things had gotten. And in fact, Alex and I started writing this book after the election of 2024, and we spoke with more than 200 people, almost all of whom were Democrats.
And so listen to this. This furthers this is even funnier. So for his research for his book, he went and talked to Democrats who also were going to claim mysterious, I bet this is the next thing out of his mouth, that they too were duped and gaslit and they didn't know and they were lied to. But he didn't speak to anybody else, didn't go out and speak to real people, didn't go out to speak to Democrats and said, hey, he looked like he lost a few steps, right? But no, listen to this.
And almost all of whom wouldn't be honest with us or wouldn't be candid with us until after the election. And then after the election, we found out all of these things that when you looked at what was going on with President Biden
So this is the thing that kills me, though, Jeff. He's talking about as if Biden ran and lost the presidency. Biden handed it over in July to Harris. Well, he didn't do that. They claimed he did. They claimed he wrote a letter. They claimed that all this stuff. There was no primary, right? So she just was but they're blaming Biden for the loss. They're blaming that they didn't know. Basically, the whole travesty that was the president, and if these robopens were signing stuff, and he wasn't cognizant, and we find out that he's publicly admitted he has cancer since 22, and they pretend like this is new information. And Laura Loomer uncovered it last year in July of 24, saying that he's got terminal cancer. And he's it's inevitable when you're terminal. That's it. So they're all more pretending about what they think is happening.
At the time, it probably doesn't surprise you the extent to which he was deteriorating. But now we have anecdotes and facts about what was really going on behind the scenes, with details that Democrats wouldn't share with us until after Election Day.
This is rich. Here we go again. Here's Tapper.
Tapper here. Alex Thompson from Axios and I wrote a book. It's coming out next Tuesday. It's called Original Sin: President Biden's Decline, Its Cover-Up, and His Disastrous Choice to Run Again. The book is drawn from more than 200 interviews with mostly Democratic insiders, almost all of them after the election. And one of the things we were shocked to learn, the White House physician, Dr. Kevin O'Connor, talked about how if Biden had one more fall, he might actually need to be in a wheelchair. But this was all put off until after the election. They did not want images of Biden in a wheelchair out there. You might recall that Biden started to have problems with a shuffling.
What are you going to say, Jeff?
No, I'm looking at this and look how these guys are so dirty. I don't know any other way to look at this, because if we go back, you have the video, where he's claiming, that Biden is perfectly fine. These guys exist like none of us saw this, and that there's no recorded evidence of what's been going on. And it's just so insane. It's just so crazy. I don't know how these guys live with themselves, honestly. Look at the look in his whole facial expression. Everything he's making it look like, man, this book is so deep. I couldn't believe any of the stuff that I uncovered in this. You guys are it's gonna be crazy. You got to buy my book.
So what did he do for the book? He talked to mostly Democrat sources. This is the
right.
Dude, it's like you just go from worst to worst to worst. I mean, like you talk to Democrat sources. You didn't even go out and talk to regular people. You just talked to Democrats, and now you're going to accuse them and beat them up because you were complicit in the whole thing, and you did zero investigative journalism, and you got an on-air fights when anybody brought up mental decline, and you weren't even somewhat curious about it. This is rich, Jeff.
Gate that the administration was very sensitive about. There was a time when they started having people walk with him to Marine One. Those people were there to kind of like hide the fact that his gate was as bad as it was, and also have them there in case he stumbled. The White House would say that this gate issue was because Biden had fallen after the election of 2020. But the truth is that it didn't have to do with that. Dr. O'Connor's medical report said that that injury was completely healed. This had to do with other degenerative problems.
Speaking of degenerate, now here he is online fighting with Laura Trump. Lord, there we go.
Every time he comes on stage or they turn to him, I'm like, Joe, can you get it out? Let's get the words out, Joe. You kind of feel bad for him.
How do you think it makes little kids with stutters feel when they see you make a comment like that?
Look at his eyes.
First and foremost, I had no idea that Joe Biden ever suffered from a stutter. I think what we see on stage with Joe Biden, Jake, is very clearly a cognitive decline.
Okay.
That's what I'm referring to. It makes me uncomfortable.
You are
to
no.
watch somebody on stage
That's so amazing. It's so amazing to me that
try and figure out an answer.
A cognitive decline.
Well, when you're trying to tell me that what I was suggesting was
I think that you were mocking his stutter. Yeah, I think you were mocking his stutter, and I think you have absolutely no standing to diagnose somebody's cognitive decline. I would think that somebody in the Trump family would be more sensitive to people who do not have medical licenses diagnosing politicians from afar. Plenty of people have diagnosed your father from afar, and I'm sure it offends you. Your father-in-law from afar. I'm sure it offends you. You don't have any standing to say.
I'm not diagnosing him. What I'm saying, Jake,
you just talked
is
about
that
a cognitive decline.
That Joe Biden
I have one last
struggling
question for you, Laura. You can't
times on stage, and it's very concerning to a lot of people that this could be the leader of the free world.
Okay.
That is all I'm saying. I genuinely feel
Laura
sorry
Trump.
for Joe Biden.
I appreciate it. I'm sure.
Look at his eyes. He's obviously reading. He's taking it in. The guy believes it, hook, line, and sinker. The guy believes everything that he's saying, but he's almost like he's dead. It's weird. No facial. I know he's on the news, but no facial expression. The eyes are just, deadpan. And then if you go to his last video when he's talking about the book, he's animated and his eyes are more lively, like he believes it. It's so weird. It's just like a totally weird, it's just strange. I don't know the messaging he's trying to get across. It's just very bizarre. I don't know.
This is so embarrassing. Fake Tapper is coming out with this. Chad says, so it's an autobiography. That's great. John Doe says, get the F out. Chad says, Dr. Jill patting him on the head. You answered all the questions, Joe.
That's right. Who does that? Dr. Jill.
Yeah. She's a doctor on paper. She's not a medical doctor. She's just got a doctorate degree. Here we go. Justin says that he says that they got bad storms about hitting Kansas City, or Kansas, I should say. A good chance and going to lose the connection to you guys. So if he wins the Yeti, he doesn't respond. Okay, so we'll get you a special pass because that's what
Justin.
You would come tonight, and the one night you can't claim it because your freaking storm knocked out your internet. But if that does happen, we know the story, and we will hold the Yeti for you until we can get it to you. Just saying that we're not going to be
claim it or be forgotten.
Yeah. That's the official thing to Dr. Dr. Jill. And it was so funny that Whoopi Goldberg on The View didn't have any idea that she wasn't like a real doctor. She thought she was a medical doctor. I mean, she really did think she was a medical doctor. We've got 16 in the drawing.
JC Tapper and others are all being paid huge bucks. That's right. Huge.
Of course, that was all on the dole. Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
Big numbers. Let's see. What was Tapper making? What was his salary?
Fake Tapper is just a travesty. I mean, he's with a straight face trying to tell us, and he was being gaslit. Yeah, we were.
He was making $7 million a year, Chip.
To sit there and propagate this lie, the fact that, and
let's see what his net worth is.
And Jean Pierre came out, the old press secretary came out and said that, you know, for those press briefings, she didn't even meet with Biden. Like, she drops that after, you know, conveniently after the fact that she wasn't meeting with Biden regularly. But you could just see it. He was like, anyway, you know.
Says his net worth is $16 million.
Well, it could be, but I'm just like, this whole thing is just absolutely, it's troublesome in so many fronts. I'm like, it's just, you got to call somebody out just for the stupidity. People are putting these kind of cartoons together. Look at this one. How CNN's fake tapper covered for President Biden. It's just a lifelong stutter.
Right. Lifelong.
It's just, and the fact that they call it stutter, there's no, this whole idea they made up the stutter. Like, if you go back to Joe's history, there's no even evidence he had a stutter. They were calling
there's no stutter ever.
The stutter is like you were kind of you sort of freeze on a letter, right? There was no stutter. He just forgot that he spoke English. He couldn't figure it out.
If you saw him when he would yell at people, the guy was always an asshole. He was never a nice person.
No.
You saw him when he was in Congress, you know, just in Senate, you know, just the things that he did and said, the way he behaved. And he was just always loud, but he was aggressive, but he never stuttered ever. He would carry his, like, it's just night and day. And that's what we always say is, look at him now, look at him then. And they're trying to make it sound like it was a lifelong thing. We talked about it when they were unfolding all this nonsense.
Oh,
you know,
you remember?
So it's crazy.
This is it right here. They all said the same thing with the same buzz phrase for each issue, right? It was all hugely, largely coordinated. They got the 5 a.m. talking points, and all they did was parrot each other nonstop.
Right.
Yeah, that's it. Chad Nauseum says he stuttered because he was a pathological liar trying to remember his fake story. And along comes Fake Tapper. Look at this one. This is I thought this was about on point. Jake Tapper uncovers startling evidence.
Biden doesn't have one.
Yeah, there you go. Jake Tapper uncovers startling evidence that Biden's decline was covered up by Jake Tapper. The bee never misses, man.
Never.
Fake Tapper uncovers evidence that Biden's decline was covered up by Fake Tapper. You know, I mean, how do you even with this? Now he's going to go profit off of this. Profit off of the fact that he
covered it up.
He covered it up. I mean, how is that possible?
It's so crazy.
How is that possible, man?
Chip, how many Yetis do we? Florida scored 1-0. Panthers 1 up on the leads. Now it's getting exciting. So we got end of the second. I'm done. Got to go watch it.
There you go. My parents live in the senior community, and they saw it all. They're more alert to it because they have to be.
Right.
Absolutely right. Florida Panthers 1-0. Everyone's chiming in. Everyone's watching it. You remember they used to be like, like, who does that? He started doing that real weird whisper thing.
Yeah.
To get the fee.
No, my God.
He was such a weird. I mean,
very.
I mean, how was it? Nobody thought he was running the country. I mean, the robo signings, all the stuff, you know. And then it was this. You remember the speaker met with him. Speaker Mike Johnson met with him in December, and said that he was talking about like, hey, I don't get why would you write an executive order about this? You know, the gas lines and this and that. I didn't do that. He goes, no, it's right here. He goes, I never signed that.
Right.
Well, he either didn't remember or somebody signed it for him. Or, I mean, the whole thing's troubling, just engaging in a conversation, not understanding.
That's right. Stuff was happening. And he just had no idea. He had no idea.
And so this too, Dr. Stephen Quay brings up a really good point here. He says, prostate cancer is the easiest cancer to diagnose when it first starts to watch it progress to bone metastasis. The PSA blood test shows the rate of cancer cell growth for even the most aggressive form. It's a 5 to 7 year journey without treatment before it becomes metastasized, meaning that it would be malpractice for a patient to show up and first be diagnosed with metastatic disease in May of 2025. It is highly likely he was carrying a diagnosis of prostate cancer throughout his White House tenure, and the American people were uninformed. Absolutely, man. He absolutely.
Just one more thing. that's where the doctors covered it up, you know, and you get to a point, there was so much cover up going on, and the gauntlet is going to fall, and these guys are all going to get caught up in the they're all getting caught up in the shit.
Here's Biden.
Does anybody care about the Yankees and the Mets? Is anybody watching that?
They dropped the last
Yankees over the Mets 2-0.
Well, they were winning. They could have picked up that game last night. And they blew it in the ninth inning. Anyway, look, here's Biden in 2022. Listen very carefully what he says. And everybody's so shocked that he has cancer. He told everybody he had cancer.
And because it was a 4-lane highway that was accessible, my mother drove us, and rather than us be able to walk. And guess what?
What?
The first frost, you know what was happening?
No.
You had to put on your windshield wipers to get literally the oil slick off the window. That's why I and so damn many other people I grew up have cancer, and why I can't for the longest time.
Just said right there. That's why so many people have cancer. And I remember when I saw this clip, and I was like, "That's weird. That hasn't been publicly disclosed." I remember seeing this, and nobody talked about it. But he said, "I have cancer." That's why.
And for the longest time, Delaware had the highest cancer rate in the nation.
Delaware.
So damn many other people I grew up have cancer, and why I can't for the longest time.
So yeah, so people are acting like they didn't know. This is something brand new. It's Lord Trump starts talking about the whole decline. I mean, and then they started saying it was a cheap fake when he was at that event with Clooney and Obama. And Obama literally had to grab him. Clooney wrote the big op-ed. They said how brave it was of Clooney. Clooney's like, he didn't even know who I was. And then they had to grab his arm and then pull him off stage. Jeff, it's just highly embarrassing on so many levels.
There were too many things like that went down. Hey, Chip, how many Yetis are there?
How many Yetis? There are 19 in the drawing right now. 19.
All right. 19. All right. Well, we gotta run this then. Here we go. After this plays, we'll have like 22. Go Panthers score again. 2-0. Man.
Okay, now we're talking, dude.
Now we're talking into the second. This is in Toronto too. Look at that. They're all sad.
Oh,
look how sad those Maple Leafs fans are.
Well, the Maple Leafs.
Man,
they still have a shot, Jeff.
Bad 2-0. I know they're still early, so I don't want to get too crazy here.
Norseman, yes, man. Keep up your work. Thank you, man. Appreciate that.
Yeah. All right.
Appreciate you. You keep it up, man. You always totally helping the show up, man.
Yeah, always appreciate it. So here we go, Chip. Ready?
Let's see.
Let's see a song about it.
What kind of banger you got going on today?
Let's see.
Win a badass Yeti from the Blue Tribe. Word of the day. Yeti. Hey, you got your Zaman wallet ready? Why? Because this is gonna be epic. It's time to claim your legendary Blue Tribe Yeti.
Damn, that was operatic. That was crazy.
That one crazy.
That was crazy. So dramatic. Man, there was like some opera going on there. There was a whole bunch of stuff going on there. Whispering. Man.
That was cool.
Yeah. Look at Norseman says all good. Wait, he says good. Yeah, all good. My go-to, get my XRP news, crypto news, and good old vibes, baby. Yeah, it's there we go. Typed in the Yeti. So we got 24, Jeff. You were close, but you were off. Who are the enemies? Well, they fight each other. They have warring factions, so they do have some warring factions. So there is that stuff. Very nice, very nice. Expecting the Vikings to jump off the ship, and the Vikings will be doing battle with one movie. Well, we've been talking about that. We've been talking about all kinds of cool stuff. Yeti. So we got 24 in, guys. If you type it once, you'll already be in, so you don't have to do it again. But I just want
a picture of his Viking outfit. Oh, that's kick ass.
Yeah, that's awesome.
There we go.
DM it to me, and I'll put it up on the screen. DM it to me.
Sweet.
On X, and I'll throw it up there
with the music. I'll put the music on when we put them up.
There we go. So Laura Loomer, who I voted for twice in office because she was hopefully going to be my representative, but no, she didn't get any GOP support, and they were miserable. Now I want to just make a note here that this was put out on July 25th of 2024. Is it 3-0?
3-0. I think that's what.
Right. So she basically put this out. He's dying, just like I said. People need to stop hating on me just because the media tells you to hate me. I was right about the medical emergency. Talked about the medical emergency that happened on Air Force One. They covered it up. She found some. She did some. I mean, she's independent. She's an independent journalist. She breaks all kinds of stories. She breaks all the stuff. Vets everybody in the administration. She said, "I was right here the other night on the time he's returning and canceled his events. And I'm going to be proven right when he dies too. Biden is terminally ill. His speech last night sounded more like a farewell speech. This is the face of a family who doesn't have much time left with their loved one." And then they had this right here, so that they know what's going on. I mean, she's the one that called it, and everybody, and she got so much. Man, she had so much incoming from the press, Jeff.
Mm-hmm.
What do you? I mean, this whole thing is like everyone's like, oh, nobody knew anything. Nobody knew. So Kash Patel had some kind of interesting things to say. There's two bits from his appearance today, or was with Maria Bartoloma.
Here, Alex.
Sorry, wrong one. Fake tapper, go away.
The lead Russiagate investigator for the House Intelligence Committee, and I've been on both your shows in a prior life talking about it, and I'm telling you and the American public that we have now found material and information and people who wanted to hide it from the world since we got in these seats. And we, as the deputy said, we are trying to do it in a fashion where not only are we informing the American public of what happened, but we can have accountability for it. And that takes a little bit more time. And when you layer on the fact that we are rolling out our priorities on violent crime and defending the homeland, we're running a three-part animal here, and we're going 100 miles an hour on each single one. So,
man,
fentanyl coming from still.
I have no idea.
So this is amazing that they found that people are trying to cover it up and hold down. So, I mean, there's so much corruption and fraud that I don't even think they know where to turn right now. People are giving them all kinds of crap like, hey, where are the indictments? Where are the stuff? Look, man, you got to clean up that agency first. You can't have people self-sabotaging. Justice is coming, right, Joe? It is. Now, this was a little bit shocking because we always heard Canada, the northern border, not a big deal. But listen to what he says about Canada.
I want to add to that, too, because what the director's saying is right. You got to remember, we come in the morning, there's a portfolio of 100 level 10 items. If it's a level 9, which is a pretty big freaking deal, someone else fixed it. The only thing that gets to my desk or his is a level 10. That's the entire day. Look at his schedule any given day. I'll show you the palm card I have. It is filled from 7:30 to he leaves 7 at night, 6:30 at night. It's filled all day. We just can't focus on one thing. You want New York to go boom? DC to go boom? You want an OC organization to go hack into some cyber network and crack all of Fox News' holdings? We're dealing with all that stuff too. Everything's a priority. Everything's a priority. This is one of many things we're doing. It's not an excuse. It's just reality.
Man. They are on top of shit.
I was the lead Russiagate.
Did I not pull the right clip?
No.
Many things we did. It's not an excuse.
I don't think I pulled the right clip.
Oh,
times.
That was good.
That's not the clip that I wanted. I wanted the one. Hang on, let me see if I can find it real quick. Man, I always hate that when you pull the wrong clip.
3-0. Look at that. 3-0.
Let me see if I can pull this one. Here it is. I knew I was going to find it, but it's amazing. Those amazing skills. So what you're hearing now is I'm downloading it really fast here. Met Dan and his wife, good people. Yeah, he's a great dude. These guys are passionate. Like, I don't have any doubts with any of these guys. Bongino.
$6 million a year for taking on the job he took on. It's amazing.
Exactly. I mean, he's given that up. It's incredible.
Mark, Canada doesn't know hockey. That might be the case. That might be what we're witnessing.
You see that they haven't won the cup since the Habs won
93.
93? Oh
93 and 94.
That's insane. All right.
Yep.
I believe this is the clip. Sorry about that, guys. Here we go. Here's Kash talking about Canada.
Where's all the fentanyl coming from still? Where's the trafficking coming from still? Where are all the narco traffickers going to keep bringing this stuff into the country? The northern border. Our adversaries have partnered up with the CCP and others, Russia, Iran, on a variety of different criminal enterprises, and they're going and they're sailing around to Vancouver and coming in by air. And the sheer tyranny of distance of the northern border and the lack of cooperation from federal authorities in prior administrations to actually firm up that northern border is what's causing a continuation of violent crime. Now, we're focused on it, and we're calling our state and local law enforcement partners up there. But you know who has to get to step in is Canada, because they're making it up there and shipping it down here. And I don't care about getting into this debate about making someone the 51st state or not, but they are our partner in the north. And say what you want about Mexico, but they helped us seal the southern border. The facts speak for themselves. The border that's open, I'll give you a statistic that I gave to Congress that nobody was paying attention to. Over 300 known or suspected terrorists crossed into this country last year illegally. Known or suspected terrorists, not illegals. Not just illegals, known or suspected terrorists. 85% of them came in through the northern border. Wow. This year, 100 known or suspected terrorists have crossed into this country illegally. 64 are south and north.
Boom, putting Canada on notice, man. I mean, that's
they gotta be put on notice.
I mean, they're pretending like they're like some kind of Mickey Mouse thing. You don't think you're letting people into this country? Man, it is not a good thing at all. It is absolutely crazy. I always like general observation videos, and this one is like, I see a lot of these type of videos, but I thought this is a pretty good assessment here. Look at this.
So now folks have a problem with how the women of MAGA look, huh? Look, are MAGA women simply not allowed to look different than this? And you see what they're showing? Now, all I see here is women that came presentable, okay? That's all I'm seeing here is women that are looking presentable. That's all they're doing. But when you go to the Democrats looking, and the liberals much better than a liberal woman looking like this. Oh my gosh. And then you guys are okay with stuff like this. This shit is crazy, bro. The fact that you guys have a problem with the MAGA women, but then you guys are okay with stuff like this. Wow. Look at this dude. This is Sarah McBride. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are you guys talking about? Look at this lady. This is Rosa DeLauro. I don't know how you pronounce her last name, but look at her hair, bro. Look at her whole approach. This is what you guys are okay with, but you guys want to have an issue with how the women of MAGA look? You guys, you got to be kidding me. You can't make this shit up. But what's wrong with how those women looked? They look like regular women, right? That are going to work or at work. Like, they look like regular women. Like, what am I missing here? Am I missing something here? They literally look like presentable women. Women that just, got their hair done, put on a little bit of makeup, and they're presenting well. They're not all super duper caked on, crazy looking makeup, looking all wild and stuff like that. No, they look very presentable. Or am I wrong? Y'all let me know, man.
Sometimes, it's so obvious. Dude calls it exactly for what it is. I mean, it's exactly what it is. I mean, it's just, he says presentable, but it's just like, how about they look like women? That's the first thing, right? And they got their hair done. They look like, but they're gonna make fun of the MAGA women. It's like it almost knows no bounds the way we have to kind of go through that. Jeff, I kind of laugh at these baby videos that are making the rounds on the over on on X. So everyone's taking stuff, converting them into babies, saying it. So I love the baby Trump ones. Here's 2 baby Trump ones.
You can't cut taxes. It's impossible. Well, I just did it $500 million back to American workers not to bureaucrats, not to foreign governments, to you. Funny.
So here's another baby Trump one here.
Now they're crying over toys made in China. They say tariffs will ruin Christmas. I say good. Maybe it's time your kids learn where things come from. Not everything shows up in a box with a smile. We gave China our factories. They gave us cheap junk. Now we take it back. And if a few kids miss out on plastic garbage this year, blame the deals you voted for.
The baby Trump. You want to see baby Elon Musk is one of the best ones when he was sitting up on stage and they couldn't believe he said this, but it's funny they made this into a baby Elon.
I love it.
If somebody's going to try to blackmail me with advertising, blackmail me with money, go fuck yourself. Go fuck yourself. Is that clear? I hope it is. Hey, Bob, if you're in the audience.
I love that.
Bob Iger in the audience. He's like, hey, if you're in the audience, totally called him right out to his face.
Yeah.
You just got to love these. I don't know. It's like every famous movie scene, anything you've ever seen. Like I can't get enough of them. I don't know why they're so popular and why people are watching them. But what'll happen is it'll come on, and then for some reason, I'll start watching it because it's just that good. Look at this is David Sachs on USAID, and he kind of pretty much nails it here. Listen to this.
The U.S. government runs a $2 trillion deficit every year. We're in debt almost $40 trillion. And we also knew that anytime anyone tries to cut anything in Washington, the whole city screams bloody murder. Okay, so the question is just why? Well, now we know. The money is all going to them. It's like round tripping to them. New York Times, getting paid. Politico, getting paid. Bill Kristol, perennial warmonger, getting paid. Ukraine, getting paid. Like 11 out of 12 publications, Ukraine, getting paid.
Incredible.
Viktor Orban, who's the prime minister of Hungary, was saying that he's very popular in Hungary. His political opposition, funded by USAID. In Poland, the left-wing political opposition funded by USAID, and on and on and on it goes.
BBC, you wonder why everyone in the UK,
paid.
so yeah.
Like
I couldn't believe the BBC's getting paid.
Every left-wing organization in the world seems to be getting paid by this slush fund at USAID, which disperses about $50 billion a year. That's $1 billion a week. That's actually a lot of money. And so it makes you wonder, the left in general tries to portray itself as a movement of the people, that it's grassroots. This is the exact opposite.
Absolutely, man. That's the exact what's going on. So flow.
All right. Check this one out, Chip. We were talking, I think this kind of puts everything into perspective. It's all risky. So remember that one question goes back and we watch what all this nonsense going on, and then put ourselves out. This is from 1981, this guy, Jim Rohn. And so I saw this. I'm like, man, this is perfect for us to watch. Let me put this up.
Go on, man.
Tell me if you can hear it.
Then I'll tell you what changed my whole life when I finally discovered it's all risky. The minute you were born, it got risky. If you think trying is risky, wait till they hand you the bill for not trying. If you think investing is risky, wait till you get the tab for not investing. See, it's all risky. Getting married is risky. Having children is risky. Going into business is risky. Investing your money is risky. It's all risky. I'll tell you how risky life is. You're not going to get out alive. That's risky. Somebody says, yeah, but I'm looking for safety and security. Fine, then huddle in a corner. We'll cover you with a sheet, bring you 3 meals a day. And we'll protect you, feed you, look after you, care for you. We won't let anything happen to you. And you'll probably live to be 100. The guy said, well, yeah, I'd live to be 100. But what a way to live. Right. What a way to live, safe and secure. Don't ask for security. Ask for adventure.
Jeff, can we pull? You know that soundbite we have. Is it risky?
Is it risky?
And right after that, we got to put. It's all risky.
It's all risky.
We got to grab that one back to back. Those are two.
That'd be awesome.
Here. By the way,
it's all risky.
Remember Mike Pence, the old VP? He finally got something right. I was shocked that he said this. Jeff, listen to this. This is interesting.
These past few years. And I think the fly was trying to tell me something when it landed on my head that day. What are flies attracted to? Shit. So I realized that I am a piece of shit. I'm probably the biggest piece of shit there is. A nutless, secretly gay, worthless piece of shit.
Again, more observational videos. This is another spot on. Listen to this one.
To those who keep getting online and insulting us in California, understand, we actually believe that California is red already. But what y'all are not getting is we live under the most corrupt state in the U.S. Understand, California holds Los Angeles. It holds San Francisco. These are two of the biggest places where all your demons and witches do everything that they do. So they're not going to let California turn red as easily as they'll allow other places to turn red. Our governors are corrupt. We have voted red. We have fought against Gavin. We have called him out. We keep doing it over and over, and it still turns blue. Even this year, when voting got finished, California turned blue immediately. It didn't take any time to count. It just turned blue. And we knew immediately they did it again. So for the people who are outside of California and constantly commenting on California, you guys need to stop being stupid, stop voting blue. We're not voting blue. We live in the area that you all worship. When you love your Beyoncés and you love all your music industries and you love Hollywood and you love all that kind of stuff, and Kamala is part of San Francisco, and like, you guys have to understand, all those people are here in California. It's 10 times as hard to get California to turn blue because we live under all of the witches and the warlocks and the demons.
He calls them witches.
Witches and warlocks.
Demons.
That's right.
I think he's on, man. I think we're ready for that drawing, dude. Is it still
too.
3 zip?
Think we might have just got another goal. I'm not sure what just happened. It's just timed out.
You mean it timed out? What's going on, Mark? Mark Smith, since you give us the news, he was watching the game. 100%
No, still 3-0. 3-0.
Happens in large
5
cities.
minutes left. 4 minutes, 59 seconds left in the second.
Absolutely does.
The goal was waved off.
Well, it was waved
It went
off.
in, but the goal, it was like he fell into the goalie.
Yeah, he fall into the goal or knocked the goal out or something like that.
Here it comes again. And so he came in, hits the goalie, comes in contact with the goalie. Goal goes in, but he's in the box with the goalie.
See, it's rigged.
Yeah, crushed him. Knocked it in.
We're about to vote.
That would have been 4-0. That was a tough one, though.
So who they present us with and vote, you really, yeah,
It's
that's
rigged.
why. Well, also all these NGOs that were funneling money into elections and everything else. This is what they're really mad about. They're very mad.
Mm-hmm.
They basically just cut off the lifeline, right, and basically strangling them. So that's a lot of what's really going on. I mean, that's the big deal. And then let's just end on this one and then do the drawing. But Jeff, this is a tale about 2 cows. Listen to this and give me your estimation after hearing this.
Tale of 2
cows. Here we go.
Is no longer a democracy. We never were a democracy. We've always been a constitutional republic. But I've said this in the past. Imagine it being cows. A constitutional republic is where you have 2 cows. You elect representatives to make laws about cow ownership and milk distribution. But their power is limited by a written constitution that protects your right to own and milk cows. Pure democracy is where you have 2 cows and your neighbors vote on who gets the milk. Representative democracy is where your neighbors elect somebody to decide on who gets the milk. Socialism, what you guys are all fighting for, is where you have 2 cows and your neighbor has no cows, so the government takes one of your cows and gives it to your neighbor. Fascism is where you have 2 cows and the government takes your 2 cows and sells you some milk. Capitalism is where you have 2 cows, you sell one, you buy a bull, and then you start a herd of cows. Bureaucracy is where you have 2 cows, the government takes both, loses one of them, milks the other one, and then throws the milk away. Totalitarianism is where the government takes both of your cows, denies they ever existed, and then boom, you get drafted. Surrealism is where you have two giraffes and then the government requires you to take harmonica lessons.
I love it.
That was excellent, man.
Two giraffes and the government.
A tale of cockroaches, and there you have it.
That was really good. That was probably one of the best things that we've ever seen.
That was solid right there, and we'll probably play that again, I'm sure.
Oh my God, that was one of the best.
He took it right there. A Tale of Two Cows explained everything. And what is that? 30 seconds? It was fantastic. Florida scored goal. We've done. Okay. Yep. Okay, we're there. Facts, says Chad. Perfect. Goody. Okay, you ready to go? That was good. Yeah. That was really good. Really solid. Let's go. And let's.
Hold up.
I'm pulling it. I'm pulling it right now. We got 28 in there. Gosh, 1 in 28.
Music in the background.
Go ahead, keep it playing.
All right, ready?
Build the suspense here, Jeff. Rod Hale, big winner of the Yeti.
Didn't have it on the stage.
Sorry, I didn't have it up there. You won though. Okay, I thought it was up there. Sorry.
That's why I was waiting. I didn't see it.
Yeah, sorry, but it was up there. I let it go. And Rod, you hear? I got so much music, Joe.
I know.
The music
that was probably. I couldn't put a video to that music because it was just everything was too slow. The music was good though. I liked it.
Like I'm ready. I'm loaded, locked and loaded. Where's my Yeti? Let's go.
Rigged. Where's Rod?
Where's Rod? Rod.
Where is Rod? It's Rod. That was perfect timing.
You must.
Where's Rod? Rod, you are here.
To win.
Hence, claim it or be forgotten.
Or be forgotten.
It's in the song.
It is in the song. It's absolutely in the song.
Must claim it or be forgotten.
While we're waiting for that,
hear Rod right here.
So here we go. Bruce Springsteen was out there.
Rod's he's at the Toronto game. Redraw.
Bruce Springsteen was out there at I don't know, he was overseas talking about how bad the US is, and then so everyone's
did you see him walk up on the stage?
Yeah. Get up.
I hate the laughter. I play people with that laughter in there. Laughter is so annoying.
Yeah.
So annoying.
Ridiculous though.
Joseph said he went to bed. I don't think Rod's here. Therefore.
Well, you might have to call. We may have to go again. We got to give him a little more time. You have to say, I'm here. Rod, say you're here to be able to win. Okay, I'm going to count this 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 3, 2, 1. We are now going to redraw.
Make sure you share it this time.
Hang on a second. Go share. There we go, guys. Ready? Go. Cash velocity. Cash velocity. No, you cannot identify as Rob, but you almost identify as the winner, but you were one off. You almost identified as the winner. It was like it's that one where like you think you won and then no, boom. Cash, are you here?
Crypto Wealth is
Cash
here.
is
Cash is here.
All right, good dude. Winner of a badass Yeti.
Just in time too, because the
This
second
is
is coming
gorgeous,
to an
dude.
end.
Fantastic. This is so fantastic. You won.
Oh my god. Oh, Rod finally chimed in on the road. Give it to the next guy.
Rod, we were trying to give it away to you, man.
We were trying to get it to you.
Sorry,
Now
that
Cash
you
has got it.
didn't know, dude. We didn't know that. We were trying as best we could. Saw that it must be right.
Tried, but
well, good. Thanks for being a good sport.
Kudos to Rod for being a good sport, and Cash Velocity is the big winner. Big winner.
By the way, we liked your profile picture, man. He's locked and loaded. He's like, let's go. All right. So address is incoming.
It's there.
Okay, so a man can identify to be a woman. I identify myself as the winner. Too late. JC already beat you to the punch. He already identified as the winner, but he lost too. So there you go. Now it's Cash Velocity saying you give it to Rod. But we can't because he's on the road. He can't get his wallet to us. That was the whole thing. That's why
can't get his wallet out.
He can't get the wallet if he's driving, man. We want you to be safe on the road, dude. We don't want you, it's one thing to listen, but let's make sure that you're being safe. So, Cash, do you want me to Cash, give us your wallet or I'm redrawn.
I already got it. Not only do I have it, but I've already sent it. And Cash Velocity is the proud owner of, what's his name? Lingbaker.
Lingbaker. There you have it, guys. There you have it. Another great show. We did 1 hour and 11 minutes. We will be back on Wednesday evening for another banger of a show. We'll be bringing it to you. We'll be bringing the latest crypto news, what's going on. We'll also be talking about the latest geopolitical, how, like Jeff said earlier, how it's all tied together. You have to understand that it is all connected. And to sit there and say, I don't get into politics or it's not that, well, it's simply not true. And it's so funny that the Dems are doubling down on being anti-crypto. So Katie Hobbs vetoed the crypto bill, the crypto Bitcoin reserve out in Arizona. She's a Democrat. They double down. So that's what it is. Hope to see you all Saturday. Yep, same here, man. Good night, guys. Yeah, take care, Joseph. Top marks as always. Great, guys. Thank you very much. The Genius Act, cloture vote. That's going to be the big one. We hopefully will be talking about something successful on Wednesday. So that is good. Something's coming up. Visual Vendetta. Be well, says Mark. Joseph says he'll be here. Fantastic. All right. Crypto Belgium out. See you, man.
Everybody's out.
Much. Show. All right. Decent. Excellent. All right, guys. That's it. We'll see you guys on the next one. Chip and
out. We're out.
Are you down with OTC? Please like, subscribe, and click the bell to be notified when the next video drops.